Kind of the stigma or the thing that I see is like men would almost rather date a woman that's like a single mother and the dad is not in the kid's life, rather than dating a woman who is not with the baby's father, but the baby's father is still very active in the kid's life. Is there anything that you don't want your kids to walk in while you're doing?
You know, biological parent. You know what I mean? And I feel like people have this like negative connotation towards step parents, but realistically, if some adult takes in a child that's not biologically theirs and loves them like they are,
I was going to add that on, especially if if you're stepping in as a person who is taking on all the responsibilities as just a parent figure. You're not, oh well, I'm a stepdad, so I'm only taking it to this level.
This is episode 15 of the Anti-Deadbeat Dads. We're looking to add to your perspective. And
wait, what did you just say?
Deadbeats.
What episode number?
15.
Oh, okay, just make it
15.
Hey, you worry about yourself.
Oh, bet.
You feel me?
No, we good, man.
Like I said, with the Anti-Deadbeat Dads, I'm one of your hosts. I'm Ty.
Marcus.
Dre.
And we got another banger for your head top. So today we're going to talk about some serious things, some not so serious things, and some things in between. And speaking of in between, I got a question for y'all.
Uh-oh.
What do you do if your kids walk in the middle of you between them cheeks? I mean sheets.
Whoa!
Sheets. Sheets.
Woo!
What do you do? You act like you wrestling?
I might do. what Woody and them do when Andy coming? I might just fall out, yeah.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, G, it's not a lot you can do. What you doing?
I'm going to fulfill my civic duty.
The parenting or what? Yeah, what is the civic duty in that moment?
Civic duty to who?
I'm providing a service to my wife.
Hey, yo. Hey.
Providing a service. Hey, I feel you. Spouse before the kids. You feel me?
We've talked about this. We have talked about this.
Look.
Mommy and Daddy, you're talking.
I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't even know how that can happen, though. Because if you really don't want it to happen, you can just lock the door.
Facts.
What you mean?
No, but
you talking like you done been
he
caught.
didn't caught. No, that's
no,
how I guilt.
I haven't. I haven't. My question is, or my thing is, I don't lock the door. I guess now that you bring it up,
I could lock the door.
Yeah, you're right.
What the hell?
No,
Yeah.
You ain't ever locked the door?
no, I don't.
Why?
No more locked doors. Look at that.
No, I honestly, it's
You ain't even got no good reason.
No. I'm getting ready to say what I'm gonna say. I don't lock the door to the opposite point of that. I don't lock the door because I want to know if the kids are up. Like if you're up and walking around, I don't want you just walking around. So if you are gonna go somewhere, come to the room so I can figure out what's going on, and then I can get you back to bed.
Okay.
And
I'm not gonna let you get off. With
What
that,
they
bro.
need, 3 minutes?
Yeah. Wait, no. Time out.
How far they gonna walk?
Hey, yo. I'm not even gonna let you get off with that though, because, bro, honestly, they'll knock on the door. If it's that serious, they'll just knock on the door.
Oh man.
It don't really matter to me. Door locked, door not locked, door open, door closed. It don't matter.
I just feel like you have an occurrence that you don't want to talk about.
I don't. I swear.
They have never ever.
No.
And you ain't worried about it.
Not really.
That could be traumatic, bro.
Well, hey,
Like, you talking about you're not gonna stop. You gonna
you
fulfill
gonna see
your
Dad getting his
civic.
rocks off.
That is insane, brother. That is insane.
Yo.
That's crazy.
Yeah, when you can just simply just lock the door. You don't think that's crazy at all?
To lock it? No, I'm not a person who locks my door.
No, I'm saying, okay.
Like in the moment, you're talking about in the moment. Yeah, no,
okay,
I don't.
So when you go in the bathroom, do you just not lock the door?
I don't.
Is there
I
anything?
don't. You lock the door when you go to the bathroom because you don't want them to come in.
Is there anything?
Yeah, and that's the reason. I'm assuming, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't.
Is there anything that you don't want your kids to walk in while you're doing?
Yeah, but
'Cause
you're
I would
forming
think
it in the
that's-
question. You're,
I would
you're,
think
you're
that's at the-
forming it in the question of, do I want them to walk in? No.
But you can prevent it, but you're not choosing to take that preventative measure. That's what we saying.
Oh, you're right. And maybe it's because I haven't got caught
No.
yet. Maybe it's because I haven't got caught yet that I also have not thought about having to do it, that I feel like we've been going good for this long.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Because you don't even lock the door when you go to the bathroom.
No, and they have came in.
Nah, bro. I
And
ain't
you don't
trying to
even
hear
care
that.
about that?
I ain't
But
trying to
again,
hear
I'm
that.
also not, when they come in, I'm also not like, hey, just like standing there talking
Do
to
you
them.
lock your front door when you go to bed
Yes.
at night?
Yes.
You didn't need somebody to come in and rob you first. You knew to lock the door.
Facts.
Right? Like, you don't need to wait for it to happen.
I'm not waiting for it to happen. I also, it's just not locked. If they come in, then of course I deal with it at that point.
Then you're like, damn. Probably start
should've locked
locking
the
it
door.
now. Like, nigga.
Or you just really don't care if they see. Because that's what it boils down. That's what it boils down to. Like, if you just
Maybe
don't
it's just
care.
I ain't got caught yet. Maybe that is what it is.
But like, your mind can go to that moment like, oh shit, they just walked in. How do you feel in that moment? Let me finish what I'm doing. Like, you don't care at all?
I'm an all or nothing type nigga. That's where his mind goes to. You say he's gonna keep doing what his civic duty
That is some
is. He
wild
don't care.
stuff. That's wild.
No, that's insane. Yeah.
I'll ask
Great
Amber.
way to start the show.
I'll ask Amber if she wants to start locking the door.
He still don't feel like he should. He gotta ask her.
I'm not going to. I'm not going to.
No, that's insane, bro.
I also feel like my timing is impeccable.
Okay, what if we?
Oh, if y'all walk in, oh shit, I don't care.
That's crazy, G.
I'm
Your
just
wife
kidding.
is.
No, I was joking.
Like, come
Yeah.
on, gang.
But I wouldn't do it with y'all there. If y'all was like, we was on vacation or something, y'all was in the room next to us, then does that matter? Because here's my question: if you don't walk in on me, but now
Wait, let me say that again. Your scenario.
I'm saying if you don't walk in on me, but let's say we're on vacation, all of us, Vegas somewhere, and we share rooms that are adjacent to each other. We share a wall. What if you hear something?
Nah, that's totally different. That's totally different.
You don't think in your mind like that's not
You're getting
not
too
like,
far away from the
Yeah,
scenario. I'm
hearing
trying to.
something and your kids seeing you do that is a little bit different. 1, 2, we're adults
Yeah.
yeah,
and we have
true.
kids and we all have wives. You know, like. But to answer your question, I don't want to hear that shit either.
Yeah, I don't want to hear it either. Yeah. No, that's
exactly.
That's a fact. But I still think it's different. Like, what I'm asking is, you just wouldn't care if anyone walked. What if your parents? What if one of your parents walked in?
Yes, I would care.
So like, I'm just saying.
And it's not that I don't care if my kids walk in. I just don't lock the door because I agree with y'all. I think I just haven't done it because I haven't had a reason to. Because I haven't even had an accident where they've like came and almost opened the door and I'm like, oh shit. Like came and jiggled the doorknob and I'm like, oh snap. Like that's never
Like,
happened.
think back to the very first time you was doing it, and they possibly could have walked in. You wasn't worried about it at all. Like, oh, let me lock this door just in case. It never crossed your mind. That's what I'm trying to say.
No.
That's interesting.
I mean, and maybe, and I will say, and let me backtrack. I have thought about it in the sense of older people being around, and I say older people as in
For sure.
whatever the scenario was, but not with the kids. And again, I think it's because I've never had the instance on an everyday basis with my kids to where they've almost came in. Like it's been a scenarios where we might have been doing our thing. Cool, we're done. We get ready to go to bed, and a minute later, here come Miley. Like, can I come sleep with y'all?
And to me, I'd be like, damn, that was a close call. We gotta make sure that door locked. Like,
And I do say, damn, that's a close call. All right, then back at it tomorrow.
This man is insane.
he's just living life on the edge, bro. That's crazy.
Doesn't care at all. That's insane to be.
Yeah. I tried to help you. Yeah. There was
I
no
don't need
way.
no help.
Hey,
Clearly.
you know this is a little off topic, but same topic at the same time. If you now replace your kids
Yeah.
with like a pet, do y'all kick y'all pet out the room first?
That's awkward to me, gang.
Wait, what's your dog name?
Scooby. Yeah,
You don't want Scooby watching?
Nah, Scoob gotta go, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Scoob, I put
You don't
Scoob
want-
up in
no,
that
here's the
office
thing-
or put
here's the
him
thing,
in the
you don't want
backyard.
Scooby watching, or you don't want Scooby to actually rev up against you.
None of the above. I don't want him trying to learn nothing. I don't want him doing nothing I'm
Trying
doing.
to learn. nothing.
Mind your business, Scoob. This is grown folks stuff. Yeah, this ain't got nothing to do with
Scoob older than
The
you.
human stuff.
Hey, human stuff. There you go.
Fact, Scoob older. He the man of the house.
For real, for real. You want them to protect your house?
That nigga the big
that's
dog, literally. Care what you talking about.
Nah, he can't be
He's
in
a
the room.
big dog, literally.
He cannot be in the room.
Oh, that's funny.
All right, we can get off that subject though. I just thought that was a cool little opening.
Nah, that was
Another subject that I wanted to talk about today. I seen it on Twitter, X, whatever the hell you want to call it. I think that's where I saw it. Where this dude, basically, keep in mind he has a stepdad, but he basically said like, why do stepdads have to raise somebody else's little bastard? But technically, he's one of them little bastards, and he loves his stepdad. so like,
and he loved his stepdad, right? He had a tweet saying like,
he tweeted like, "I love my stepdad," and then he turned around and said like, "Why we gotta raise these little bastards?"
Do you remember how long ago the other tweet was? Because they dug the one up of him saying, "I love my stepdad." But I think
this was like a spread out instance. Like,
yeah, so he was popping it like he was on there talking bad about stepdads shouldn't have to raise a little bastard
and then
that's not
became a
theirs.
stepdad.
Somebody, no. Somebody quoted it with a screenshot of one of his tweets from like a couple years ago, or maybe further back, like some years ago, of him saying like, I'm not gonna lie, I think his stepdad had passed, and he was saying like, he helped me be the man I am. I love him, or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So they like, nigga, ain't this you?
Yeah,
like,
right. Ain't that your sister situation? Yeah, I get you.
I don't have the time for. I'm looking for it, but
dude's crazy.
Hey, you know what? And I know a few stepdads. That just sounded crazy. Like I would hope I know a few stepdads, but I feel like that job is just as honorable as you being somebody's, biological parent. You know what I mean? And I feel like people have this like negative connotation towards step parents, but realistically, if some adult takes in a child that's not biologically theirs and loves them like they are.
I was going to add that on, especially if you're stepping in as a person who is taking on all the responsibilities as just a parent figure. You're not, oh, well, I'm a stepdad, so I'm only taking it to this level, right? They full on embrace the situation. I feel like, that's commendable.
Yeah, I agree. I think that man probably had issues with the kid's mother or something, or in some form of getting the kid to respect him as a father figure. Probably had issues there, and that's why he lashing out at the kid and stuff like that. Because I agree with what y'all said. Like I don't think it's much different if you create a good environment and a good relationship for that kid.
Now, it's definitely not different.
On the topic of a stepdad, what are your thoughts or outlook on when you see stepdads who do have that thought process of, yes, I'm taking on, I'm with these kids' mother and I'm in a committed relationship with them, married, whatever the case may be, right? That, but their feeling towards it is, hey, I'm still only stepdad. Like, do y'all see it as a separation of, as long as if your real father's in your life, then I only take it to this point? Do you think they're allowed to? With your
scenario that you're painting, what things are they withholding from as saying like it only goes this far?
I know there's some I'm stay on topic of stepdads. Right there, disciplining is a big topic of what they will and won't do, or take it to a certain level. And I hear sometimes to certain like decisions that are to be made, they'll mostly step back and say, that's either you need to talk to your mom, or your mom and your dad can talk about it and make the final decision, right? That's sometimes what I see.
Step back made me laugh. I'm sorry. You talking about the stepdad did the step back.
You like the little rhyme?
Yeah. Go ahead, Ty.
I do see that happen a lot too, as you said. I think it's case by case though. Like, if you just walked into this kid's life when they were 10, 11, or they're older and they understood that you just came into their life, I think it's respectable for you to let the biological parents make that decision if they're both present.
Yeah.
Not to say that your opinion doesn't matter at all.
Right.
It's just, you know what I mean? It's a little different dynamic. Now, if you came in while this child is small and they can't even remember you not being in their life, I
Right.
think you have every right to say
Yeah.
just as much as the biological. You know what I'm saying?
I get you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
it's
agree.
really on the adults to be, I guess,
Mature.
mature
Work
enough
together.
to understand that, like,
Yeah.
I'm just as much as their parent as you, even if you birthed them. Like,
Right. Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because I feel like anyone coming into a relationship with someone who has kids, you're not just coming into a relationship with that person, and you got to be aware of that. It's
Right.
like,
Right.
it's a relationship with them, but it's also a relationship with them.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna act like that's easy. You feel me? Like, that's probably not easy, but at the same time, that's what it is. So you got to figure out how you can. What's your role in this situation, and like you
Yeah.
have to be willing to adapt to whatever you're walking into.
We'll have a coworker that he deals with. He's a stepdad, and he's been in these children's life for. There's 3 girls. He's been in their life for a while. One of them is the oldest. I think she's 18, but he has both dynamics. The 2 younger ones, their dad is in their life, and then the older one is not. And I hear him saying a lot the 2 different balances that he has to keep in that situation. Where with the 2 younger ones, he has told himself like, well, I'm not going to make that decision because he feels like if you're 10, I think the youngest one's 11 or 12, he feels like your dads are in your life. You go to your dad's house, right? Like every other weekend, your mom and dad have an agreement that he feels like I'm only here as a step parent and you live at my household. So there are rules and regulations according to me, myself. But at the end of the day, it's for your mom and your dad to make a decision. Now with the older one, I can see that he's in her life as a true, right? He's just stepping as a father figure. It's not the stepdad situation. He's just like, I'm your dad, whatever you need, I got you, type of thing. So it's crazy to see the differences in the same household.
That's very interesting.
that's crazy for
I
him
told
to
him,
even
well,
navigate.
I want to bring him on one day. He said he would come on, but because he has a lot of, and he has a older and a younger. He separately, his kids are older, 20, I think 23 and 24, somewhere around there. So it's like he has both dynamics that he has a good outlook on that situation.
Yeah, definitely bring him on.
Yeah.
Have a conversation with us for real. Join the conversation, I should say.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah,
You sound like you were about to say something.
I kind of lost it. I was trying to remember, but I feel like I wanted to talk about. I was just talking to somebody about this, and I feel like as a man dating a woman with kids, I feel like what I've seen, and y'all can tell me if y'all agree that y'all seen this or not, but kind of the stigma or the thing that I see is like men would almost rather date a woman that's like a single mother and the dad is not in the kid's life, rather than dating a woman who is not with the baby's father, but the baby's father is still very active in the kid's life.
Yeah.
And
I
they
agree.
feel like that's threatening to
I've seen,
them
yeah.
in a way.
Well, do you think it's threatening, or do you think in their mind it's I can take on or deal with a woman and their kids, but now you're adding another level of whatever however you want to say it into the mix. It's like I can deal with you and the kids as a family dynamic, but then when you have a present father, it's like that could bring issues to me that I don't really want. Good or bad.
I mean, yeah, anything can bring, you know what I mean? Like we can,
Well, not necessarily if because I date a woman with kids and the father's not in their life or nothing to do with them, then it's like I don't have to worry about that extra.
I guess
Yeah,
that's
but
fair,
the bad.
but
Well, I don't want to frame it as the bad part, but I guess I'll say just another part of that is then you have responsibility to that kid.
Yeah, but wouldn't you be
Sole responsibility.
expecting that
you
anyway?
also never know if that person is going to someday have a change of heart and show up, or if that kid is going to still long for that relationship. Like, all of it's unpredictable. So to me,
Yeah.
it's just like, and again, I'm on the other side of this, and we could talk about me later, but I would think if you falling in love with this woman, right, and she has a kid or kids from a man, and the man and her, they not blurring the lines, they not being weird about like being together, they just both, let's
Yeah.
raise this kid, let's do what's best for this kid. I would think that you would come in and feel like that's a strong unit, and I can contribute to that, and this kid can be this kid can benefit from having support here, support here, support here. Like, we all got a common goal. If it's not weird, I can totally understand if the dad is like, you know, like flirting with the girl, or like if they doing weird stuff.
And not to change the dynamic of what you're saying, but also when you ask the question, it made me think, when you ask that question, like, I only imagine black people. And I ain't trying to sound bad with it, but I don't see it as much in other races where that's a problem.
Where it's like an issue.
Yeah. But I also don't know as many. So I don't know if it is or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying
it could be proximity.
Yeah, I'm just saying from my position, I've seen it happen with our people, and it also just, in my opinion, it's a lack of maturity. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I do. It's a tough thing to say, but like I feel like our people, our mentality from the man side, like when you have a baby with someone and y'all break up or whatever, we always feel like we got them. In the sense of, to your point, flirting with you could get a new man. In my mind, I feel like I could still get you if I want to. Like, I feel like that's always how we discuss certain things in regards to that.
Nigga's crazy.
I'm just saying.
I've never had, like,
We're not in that situation.
So,
I'm saying the people that I've talked to always feel like I have an attachment to you because we have kids together, that I always feel like something is there. And I feel like that's the same thing for women in most cases. It's like you always have this attachment to someone after you have kids, that I hear a lot of women say, well, I broke up with this guy to get back with my baby daddy because I want to make my family work. I hear a lot of that, right? So if the woman's saying that and the man is thinking that, then that must make it a semi-true statement of, I always feel like I have that there.
I feel like, okay, I don't feel like that's the truth. I feel like it is like, you can see the logic behind that decision making. So,
and
like,
it's case
if
by case.
because
it is case by case, but where would the logic be if now we're going back to the main topic of, if a man gets involved with the woman who has kids, why wouldn't I think if the man is present, that's always a possibility in the back of my mind?
Well, anything's a possibility is what I'm saying. Like, she could go to the store and meet a guy. Anything's a possibility if you want to make possibilities.
That's a little different, that's a little different.
But I'm just saying,
I don't have kids with the person at the store.
Either you trusting the person you with, or you evaluating the situation that you're stepping into, or you're making up shit in your head. That's what I'm saying.
Also, and I don't want to mix the story up. In Marcus's scenario, he also said the two people don't blur the lines.
Yeah, he did.
Right.
So, like, if that's
right.
not even a factor, it's got to be something outside of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's got to be either.
Because I speak for myself. I didn't have like a relationship with Anna's mom. I didn't know her very well.
Yeah.
Boom. You know what I mean? I find out about Anna when she's 2 years old.
Yeah.
I come into Anna's life. There was a guy that she was dating at the time that would have rather me just not been in the picture. And I think that created issues between the two of them. Because now Anna's dad is in her life and I'm not Anna's dad.
Right. Oh, I see.
And what I'm saying is, I think that's a common thing.
Yeah. I see what
where
you're saying.
you want to be this thing so bad, you want to be her everything, her dad, and you have an issue with her actual dad being around, and that actually creates
There's a
issues
motive for you not wanting. I see what you're saying.
If you really love this little girl and you love her mom, you get in where you fit in.
And it could be.
Because at no point am I crossing the line. At no point am I sending pictures, talking inappropriately. I'm a dad, bro.
Yeah.
I don't even call myself a baby daddy, or I don't call her baby mom or nothing like that, because I'm Anna's dad, that's Anna's mom.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, we don't make it weird. There's nothing weird about it. But I do think it's unfortunate that there's men that would either not want to date her, or that would look at our co-parenting situation and feel like it's weird or it's uncomfortable or it's threatening. And it's not just me. I have a wife who's also involved, and we're a team. Like, we're co-parents.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I just kind of wanted to talk about that because I don't get that. Like, to me, it's just... And again, I could see if we was making stuff weird. If I was spending the night over the house, or like I was... Whatever you could think of.
It's a maturity thing, bro.
It is.
At least in my opinion. Have y'all ever seen the, like, YouTube Pop the Balloon or Find Love?
Yeah.
And almost every episode that I've seen, they ask, like, you have kids? And then if they say yes, how many baby daddies or baby mamas
Yep.
you got, and then they'll say, "Are they in the life?" Like
Yeah.
they ask
They
these
gotta
questions.
know that.
Yeah,
And it's one of the
Yeah.
and it's one of the two of the reasons why they wouldn't choose somebody. I see a lot on there. So if it's like you have kids, yes, by how many baby mamas or baby daddies, and they say 3 kids by 3 baby daddies, pop, 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 right? Because
Yeah.
I think in their mind they feel like, well, damn, that's 3 baby daddies that and that's what I'm assuming. I don't know them, but I feel like that's how they think, which is that means I got 3 baby daddies to deal with. And again, if you're willing to fall in love with someone and that is their scenario, then that's their scenario. And you
Right.
got to figure out, to your point, how to navigate that situation. But I feel like it is a maturity thing because that's the first instant, like, oh, no, I'm not going
And
to choose you
that's-
because of that.
I'm glad you brought that up because I think that illustrates it perfectly. Because to ask, do you have a baby daddy? Even if it's just one, let's not even go to 3.
Yeah.
Do you have a kid? Yes, I have one. Okay. Is the dad in their life? Yes.
Pop. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
The kid has a better life because of that.
And for real, to your both of your points, it's like you don't even know our dynamic. You just
you have
assume
no
because I
idea.
said they're in their life, you just like, oh, that's gonna be bad.
We
It's
must
like-
be doing
Right,
stuff
right,
or whatever.
yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
And it could be an insecurity thing too,
Right.
for those people.
So maturity, yeah, I think it all comes under that.
Yeah,
but
you're right.
Yeah, I just
Yeah, no, you make sense.
something I see, and I was talking to a friend about it, and I'm like, man, that is crazy because you would think actually there's less burden on you coming into a situation where there's support.
Yeah, that's kind of what Tyler was saying.
Because it's not just me, it's also my wife, it's also my family, it's also my wife's family. Like,
Right.
my child has a lot of support.
Yeah.
It's also her mom's family and her mom. Like, it all comes together to be her support system. And to rather have that not be the case,
Yeah.
if there is a kid, is just kind of off to me.
Yeah,
Shout out to the stepdads out there.
man.
And the stepmoms.
Step-parents, yeah,
for
step-parents.
sure.
Shout out to the step parents. Shout out to anybody who's taking care of
Yeah,
somebody's
for
kid.
real.
Foster parents.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was on a flight. I told you I was traveling a lot. I was on a flight and I was having a good conversation, and I actually was sitting next to somebody who I have mutual friends with, and so we was talking a lot, like the whole flight we was talking, and they have like a 1-year-old baby. I was on my way back from Dallas, so I had just went out there to drop back off after spring break, and I was talking to them. I wasn't talking about Anna though. I was just talking to them. They were telling me about their baby. Then we talked about like the mutual relationship and whatever. And then I showed them Wes because he's a baby too, and they had a baby on the flight. And we were talking and talking and talking, and like I had asked them, like, they moved to Dallas recently from California. They grew up where we grew up, and I was like, oh shit. And at one point they asked me why I was in Dallas. And I realized that I got embarrassed when I responded to them because I didn't want to tell them like, oh, I was dropping my daughter off. And I realized like that's a trigger for me. Because I just know how it comes off when I tell people shit like that. Like, people don't know how hard I work to be an honest life, and like people who I'm having a casual conversation with, I feel insecure when I talk about that shit, like, because I feel like it defines me and it paints me a certain way of I don't live with my daughter don't live with me, but I have my son who lives with me, and that's my own shit that I gotta figure out. But this particular conversation, I just felt like internal struggle, and when they asked me that question, I was just like, visiting family, like I didn't want to tell them, even though we was being super open and having a really good conversation. I was like, I fuck with them, like it was chill up to that point, and I kind of shelled up, and I felt it in myself, and it kind of revealed to me something that I battle with, because this is the anti-deadbeat podcast, anti-deadbeat dads, and that's what we stand on, bro. And like, I feel that to my core. That's not who I am. But I feel deeply conflicted when I talk about my situation, and I feel I could be perceived a certain way that's contradictory to that, because people don't know the ins and outs of, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and that shit's hard for me. And when I think about it, it's like, why is it so hard for me? Because at the end of the day, like, I shouldn't really give a fuck what nobody else thinks when I know what's true. I shouldn't. If Anna knows I love her and she loves me deeply, like, why does it matter what a stranger or anybody thinks? And also, why do I feel that that's the default judgment that people are going to have about me? Like, I was just trying to think about that, and I think it just came down to, I think if she lived in my house, I would be able to be involved in her life even more. And I can't help but feel that I'm letting her down in some capacity because I don't have that. You know what I mean? And that's like the worst shit I can imagine, bro. Is like one of my kids growing up and me feeling like some shit I did directly impacts them in a negative way, or I failed them in some kind of way. And that's the hardest thing for me. And so that's why, like, obviously that's why I work so hard. Like I just told y'all, like I do all this traveling. Bro, I ain't fucking rich. Like I find my way to get out there, bro. I find my way. I'm not missing nothing important. I'm on that phone. I'm on FaceTime. Like we do what we do, bro. And like we have a great relationship. And it's important to me. And it's like there's still a part of me that's like it could still be more. It could still be better. But I can't afford to move to Dallas and I can't get a house. And right now things ain't working out where she's going to come out here. And I'm still praying and holding on to hope that that can happen someday, one way or the other. But like, that's not my situation right now.
Yeah.
So I'm doing the best I can. And I'm not like, you know, like I'm hard on myself, bro, because when I say I'm doing the best I can, I feel like that's some bullshit. Like that, like it's hard for me to just accept I'm doing the best I can as like
the answer.
like you good. Like, yeah, you good. You shouldn't feel so hard about it. Like you good. Like, no, bro. Like, because if a day ever comes that I feel like I let her down, then that I did the best I can shit is not gonna mean nothing to me. And I was thinking about it, and I'm just like, bro, I think the problem I'm having is I can't think of one dad, and I don't know if y'all can, I can't think of one dad who has been a super good dad, bro, and like a super successful dad, and like has a great relationship with their kids, and their kids are successful, and they're healthy, and they're happy, and I can't think of that shit when the dad and the kid wasn't in the same house. And that makes it extremely hard for me.
Well, in what capacity are you speaking of?
Just in general, like I just feel like...
Well, I mean, when I asked that, I'm saying, you said in the same house, like how often is that? Because that needs to be quantified because, okay, you can take people who are stepdads or they have two different household parents. They're not in that house every day. You know what I mean? They might be in the house every other weekend or whatever it is, but they're still, you know what I mean? So, like, what does that look like to you specifically where it quantify, like, okay, that would be the number of how many days they should be in the house? Because unless you have that answer, you always going to feel like that unless it's every single day.
Yeah, I have another question after that, too.
I don't think I have that answer. I just think when I think of or when I recognize people as like, that's the kind of dad I want to be, and that's what I see as a great dad or a model of a great dad-daughter relationship or whatever, I don't really see it configured like that. So that does something to me to where I feel like, man, can that be accomplished that way? You know what I mean?
I personally believe it can. And I believe it can be accomplished in that capacity because if you are involved, only you guys know how much you're involved in what your relationship is. And only that can be quantified. Someone can be in the house with their parents every single day and they don't have a good relationship at all. So, like, it really don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to say it doesn't matter at all. But what I'm saying is I think the actual relationship and what you guys are fostering together means more than the amount of days she's in your house. Because, I mean, let's be real. Most of us, especially in California, your parents is gone all day working. The kids are in the daycare somewhere. How much time are you actually spending in the household together for that to be like the only thing that makes you quantify if you can be a good parent to this child or not? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I do, and it's like I know I'm doing a good job given the circumstances. Like I really know that. I don't
I
doubt
was
that.
about to say, out from an outside person, you're doing a great job.
I appreciate that. And I just feel like I probably need to pray more about it, right? Pray while I work cuz I'm still working towards creating the ideal situation. But I just feel an uneasiness still that's like, man, it's going to be hard for me to stomach that shit if like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I feel like she grows up and she's missing vital things that should have came from me or like
I wanted to add that specific point. I wanted to ask something because my best friend, he's in not the same situation, but he has two kids with someone, and he has another kid by someone. I my godson is 12. He's gonna be 12. I've asked him personally, like, when do you think is the age that he needs to be at your house every day, full time, and not at his mom's house? And obviously he has to deal with his own stuff of like him and the mom, right? They have to figure out how that's going to happen, and then also his son determining like, do I want to live at my dad's house full time? Because eventually he comes to that conclusion as well. But I ask that because there are things that I assume he needs to be in the house full time because there's vital things that you need to teach him as a dad and being in his life and being present every single day that I can offer you that I don't want to say that your mom can't offer you, but from a different perspective, I should say,
right.
is that, do you think that that's what it is that you have a different perspective that you think if you live with me every day, I can offer you a different.
Yeah, I just feel like my influence is greater. Like
you're
when
around
Anna
me every
comes and
day?
spends the summer with me,
Yeah.
she leaves a little bit different
Different.
than how she came every
Yeah.
year. You know what I mean? And
Right.
and her mom and them have told me that too. And it's not in terms of me like I'm not comparing.
Yeah.
I'm not saying who's a better parent or this and that, but
Yeah.
I have different things to offer
Right.
that they need to be given to her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like I feel like my influence can be limited
Mm-hmm.
in a way that I feel is risky.
Yeah.
And I don't want to leave. I don't want to ever feel like I'm leaving that to chance of like, I'm saying these things, but is it getting through to her? Because you know what I mean? Like talking to somebody
Yeah.
and like, you know how it is, bro.
Yep.
Like you sit your kid down and you talk to him. Your kid goes to bed, they wake up the next day. You can evaluate what they're doing. You can sit them down and talk to them again. Or you can just peep game. Like
the consistency of
it's just
upholding those things
it's a
is
different
where,
level
yeah,
of consistency, bro.
Yeah.
Like
rather than talking to you on the phone and portraying that, and then I don't talk to you for a day or two, or it doesn't come across the same. I
or
get that.
even say I talk every single day on the phone. I'm not talking to you first thing when you get up.
Well, you
I'm
can
not
hang up
talking
this
to you-
phone and right.
Like it's limited.
Yeah,
It's limited, bro.
And do you think, and I don't mean to keep diving into that, but do you think the conflict for you, and I think you pointed it out when you were talking about it, which would be the conflict of knowing you have one child that does live at home, right? Wes is at your house every day, whereas you have another child and there's somewhere else that the two could kind of make you feel like, man, I know I have two kids at one, like I want them both at my house, where you're like, that makes you feel.
It's just that I don't want to feel like I'm able to pour more into one than the other.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was.
I think they
getting
both deserve me as their dad in the best capacity I can give.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
I got you.
No, yeah. And that was a great question. And I also asked, like, I mean, and maybe you guys, I know you just said right now that it doesn't look like she'll be here, like, as of now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm assuming you guys have had these types of conversations.
On and off, because it becomes a touchy
Yeah.
thing. You know what I mean? Where like, in my mind, why wouldn't we do it? Like, I think we could all evaluate the pros and cons and see like it would be beneficial for Anna. Leave me out of it. I think we could all look at the situation and say, of course, it will be beneficial for her to have both parents actively, frequently, consistently around and in her life all the time. I think that's a no-brainer to me. So I get frustrated when there's other reasons or deterrents for why we can't make that happen. And I understand at the same time, I understand that we're all navigating through life and we have to do what makes sense financially and, you know, well, where am I going to work and this and that. And like, I understand those things. It's just, to me, it's like, that's got to be the end goal, you know? That's got to be the end goal.
And that's important that you said that. Like, even if it's not happening now, the end goal, you're basically saying everyone should be on that page at least.
Right.
Like, the end goal is, okay, we have Anna, and we need to do what's best for her, and we should all feel like this is best for her to have. I mean, statistically, it's best for, you know, a child to have both of their parents, you know, on a daily basis. But I feel where you're coming from, and I didn't want to step on what or like minimize how you felt about wanting to be there every day with her. When I said like you could still make an impact, because obviously you feel that way, and I believe that too. Like, you can have an impact by being there every day, but I was also just trying to, like, you know.
Yeah, I felt what you were trying to do.
Yeah.
I didn't feel that you were minimizing it, and I agree with your justification, for lack of a better word. Maybe that's not the best word, but I agree with what you said.
Yeah.
Just, to me, that's the internal conflict that I keep having. And man, like, I get emotional about this, bro, because I feel like I live a pretty good life, bro. Like, I'm pretty successful. I'm there for the people that need me. Like, I think I'm doing pretty good, bro, and God's blessed me with a good life. But that situation has so much power over if I'm happy or not, that it's just like, it wrecks me, bro, to even just think of the thought of, what if what you're doing ain't enough? And you running around feeling like it's enough and saying you're doing the best you can, but what if it's not, bro? How you gonna feel if it's not? You know what I mean, bro? Like, I can't ever go back. And so, this is why I say I need to pray about it, because I think two things can be true. And I'm living through figuring this out, bro, like, in real time. So, but I think I can be doing the best I can right now, but I can also still be working for that change and having faith for that change to come. So
Yeah, I think that can be simultaneous.
yeah, that's where I'm at. And then another thought that I had is, like, kind of take it as a challenge too, because I said I've never seen, or I can't think of somebody who's been a super good dad and has this and has that. And I'm like, why not be that person? You know what I mean? Like, I know I'm not the only person that's in this situation and that feels like this. So why not, for my daughter's sake, be that person, for my sake, be that person, and for all the other dads that's going through this, be that person, so that they have somebody they can say, oh, he was in a similar situation to me. He stepped up and figured it out, and, like, I can do the same thing. So now I'm kind of, that's the shift I'm trying to make for myself, because I can only control so much with the situation I'm in.
Yeah. I mean, again, I do want to add too, though, like, I think with the stuff that you are doing, you are showing other dads out there, again, with what you're able to do within your control, you are doing the best you can do. So they are seeing, like, I mean, I don't know any in this same situation, exact same situation as you, but man, you talking about catching flights weekend after weekend to go see your daughter do cheerleading, right? There's some dads that will be like, oh, well, you could just send me a video, you know, that's fine. But
I went last weekend.
I went, but you're not doing that. You're making the effort to do that. You're making sure on, right, spring break is only a week long or something around there. So it's like, man, you getting her on the spring break. It's like you're taking every chance you can to be around her and be with her. So it's like, I think even those moments are representing how good you're doing to other dads out there. You know what I mean?
And when I talk about the shift, I don't mean like, I first of all, I appreciate that.
I mean, I know what you're saying on a bigger
I appreciate that.
scale.
But when I talk about the shift, I mean being okay about it and like not being ashamed. Like if somebody were to ask me why I went to Dallas,
Yeah.
I need to be okay with saying, man, I came out here to see my daughter perform, man.
Yeah.
Like it's her first cheer competition. I'm so excited, bro. Like
Right.
those are the feelings I really have inside, but
Yeah.
I'm stopping that because I'm embarrassed. And when I told this to another friend of mine, he was like, bro, what if somebody was sitting behind y'all
Yeah.
and they needed to hear you say that you got on that flight to go see your daughter because she had her cheer competition? What if that changed something for some, like you never know the impact.
Right.
And he was like, that's your story, bro. Like kind of what we just talked about. That's your story. That's your journey.
Yeah.
And I have to be okay with that, bro, because I'm a God-fearing man and I know that God is using my life for a purpose. So maybe this is a part of that purpose and I have to stop. To me, honestly, it's like I have to humble myself a bit because my life ain't gonna be perfect. And I don't need to hide the parts of my life that's not perfect to feel okay about my life. Like I know I'm blessed. I know I love God, bro. And God loves me and God's pouring into my life. And I have to stop feeling shame about things where I actually feel like I'm showing up and doing a good
sure.
job. It doesn't even make sense. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But it's just something that I've been conflicted about, and I'm just trying to be vulnerable about that.
Yeah. We got you.
I do think I'm turning the corner and making that shift, bro, and it's an interesting journey for me.
Yeah. But it's your journey.
Yeah.
It's your journey. And you kept speaking on how God-fearing, as we know you are. And obviously it's harder in the moment, but just realizing that, like, shame doesn't come from the Lord. That's not his spirit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's nothing but the devil trying to,
Yep.
destroy
Amen.
what you think. You know?
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah, man. You're doing a great job, bro. Now, I know, words,
Yeah,
we can only say so
right.
many words, and you have to internally feel it and believe it. But you're doing what you can, and, sometimes, and the type of person you are, like you said, sometimes that just don't feel like the good enough answer.
Right.
But sometimes it is the answer. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
And I think that's a good point for dads in your situation and dads, I think, across the board, right? Because I think we've all mentioned on here, man, we feel that way. I feel that way to any day. I'm in the house with both of my kids, and I wake up feeling that sometimes. I drive to work, and sometimes I might break down crying because I'm like, I might drive 2 hours, and I think that, I'm driving 2 hours or whatever, and I still feel like, nah, something else I could be doing, right? Like it's other things that I feel like I could be doing better to be a better dad or whatever the case may be and be there for my kids, and I still feel like it's not enough. So it's like you ain't by yourself, right, in that thought process. But
Yeah.
again, like Tyler said, it's just, being okay with what you are doing and with the thought of knowing that you are doing better.
And this just made me think of that right when you said that. And not even just being okay with what you're doing, but just having a sense of gratitude for
There
your
you go.
situation.
Yeah.
Because like you said, like that, your story, it could help somebody you don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And us, like, being grateful for the opportunity to be in the positions that we are, it's going to propel us to be in greater positions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That and we can wrap it up with this, but that just gave me a different perspective on like the word humility or humble, because I feel like oftentimes it's like being humble is just not feeling like you better than other people, right? Or like not boasting or not, like those kind of things. But I think I took it a step deeper because, I mean, to be completely honest, I feel like no man grows up and thinks I'm gonna have a baby and it's not gonna be the woman I married, right? And so when that happened, I feel like I had a bit of an identity crisis, bro, and it was hard for me because I felt shame in my life, probably for the first time, of like feeling shame on that scale. With daughter, she's 2 years old and she doesn't even live in the same state as me, and this is my new reality. And like when I tell people about that, I've always felt some kind of way, because I feel like it says something about me. But I feel like I'm realizing that humility is just not putting my flaw on a pedestal of feeling like it's so much greater than other people's flaws that I need to feel shame about it. Because I think every single one of us is human, and whether we're talking about the things that make us human or the flaws that we have, the shortcomings that we have, whether we're talking about them or not, we all have them. Mm-hmm. And I think humility to me is being at peace with my flaws and my shortcomings and my situation and my journey, and just being okay with that. I feel like that's true humility, and like being able to connect with other humans and understand like they may think this or that about my story. That's fine, it's my story. Mm-hmm. And vice versa. You might tell me something that I can't relate to, and like maybe you would think Marcus would never understand this, or Marcus would think this and that about me if he knew this, but like that's your story, and we all humans. We're all flawed humans.
Yeah.
So I just feel like it's kind of just changing the way I think about things.
For sure.
Hey, I'm glad you shared, bro.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have to.
That's for sure.
And you did. I mean, and I know we've been going to church. I've been seeing Dre at church lately, but one of the messages was about like, and I'm not saying this is what you're doing, but it's like it's like a parallel concept to me. Like, basically confessing your sins to your people releases you from them sins. And I feel like, and I'm not saying it's a sin, but I'm saying what you just did, I feel like you're releasing this into the world. Like, it doesn't have a hold on you anymore. Mm-hmm. So I'm proud of you for that, bro.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all, for real.
Yep. I don't even know if we have much left, but if we don't, I feel like this was a great way to end it.
For sure.
With some personal.
I hope we didn't run out of time. I didn't start the timer.
Oh, whatever.
Because I really wasn't ready to talk, and it just started happening.
Yeah. No, you good. You good. Well, sure. We'll wrap it up with that. It's been episode 15.
15.
Anti-deadbeat dads. You heard it here first. I'm Ty.
Marcus.
Dre.
We out.